just uh, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You are very well audible.
Yes, ma'am, we discuss about the formal letters with examples and and also we discuss about some content writing and all, like letter, complaint and apology letter like that, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome, ma'am.
That's all. Okay. 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 Raju Kumar, can you please unmute your mic and speak? Raju Kumar, can you please unmute and speak? Okay. Rakesh Gupta, can you please unmute and speak?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we discussed about the internal exam details, how you will take the internal exam, ma'am. And you also discussed about to make the PDF of our class notes copy and ma'am, specific type of formal letters and the ma'am format of the formal letters, how to write. You give the example also. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Uddeshya, if you can hear my voice, can you please unmute and speak and help me remember what we did in the last class?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, Uddeshya.
First of all, we did some revision of last class about MIDI and some. Then we discussed the procedure about how will you take internal exams. Then we discussed about 10 different types of formal letters and their purpose, how do we write them.
Yes.
Then there was a general format of formal letters.
Yes.
And then you told us about what to exclude in the content of formal letters.
Yes, what to include and what to exclude. Yes, yes. Thank you, Uddeshya. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very, very clearly put. Okay. So you can understand that when Uddeshya responded, he actually was maintaining the chronology of time, how we started and what we discussed in the middle and how we ended the class. Okay, he talked about revision, he talked about milli, and we learned about the details about specific types of formal letter based on purpose. What are the situations and how we structure the body of such letters. Okay, how we structure the body of the complaint letter, how we structure the body of the invitation letter, how we structure the body of the apology letter. We did that, and then we learned what are the general what type of language we generally use in formal letter. It's just that we don't use abbreviation, we don't use slang, and we try to make our language as clear as possible. And we also keep in mind how the reader of the letter will read it. And we generally structure our formal letter into 2 or 3 paras. So that's what we did. And then we also learned the format of it. Okay, what comes at the top of the letter and then what comes, because this format is kind of fixed. Okay, there are little relaxations, but then certain things are little fixed. Okay, you can't start with the body of the letter. Okay, you have to start with the readers, and then you can't start with your signature. So there is a kind of rough format laid, which can be altered a bit, not too much. So that's what we did. Okay, so now, yes, you can look at the chat box and type your response there. Okay, so your milli in the chat box. I hope you remember the 3 clauses of milli. It should be 1 point, it should be presented either in 1 word or phrase, and it should talk about your learning, not what the teacher taught or what the teacher discussed, what you learned. And you don't add extra things. Okay, yeah, so you milli put it in the chat box. Yes, I quickly scroll up and check how the students have responded. Uddesha has written self-respect is more important. I'm happy, student Uddesha, that you actually analyzed something more, something beyond than the syllabus or the curriculum. Okay, yeah. While talking about this letter of prospect and while talking about later about to know about the job status, while I was talking about CV and all these things, I talked about all this. Yes, please don't lose your self-respect when you are asking for job vacancy, when you are writing a prospect letter. And never lose your self-respect. Okay, let your CV speak. But then Uddesha, you should have put it. The way you have put it is the form of a sentence. Okay, so maybe you can structure it this way: that self-respect while writing prospect letter. Is this clear, Uddesha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So instead of presenting it in the form of a sentence, you can present it in the form of a topic, in the form of a phrase, like self-respect while writing prospect letter. Okay. Yes. Okay. So format says that format of formal letter, specific format of formal letter. See, look at the answer difference between Shaunak's response and Tamalika's response. One is format for formal letter, the other is specific format of formal letters. Okay, but then Tamalika, you should not put full stop at the end of it, because anyway this is not a sentence, this is just a phrase. Each type of formal letter, yes, we went to each one of them. Okay, format and contents of formal letter. Anjali, again, you are talking about the entire topic for the class. Okay, that is what we did in the entire class, format and contents. Okay, so this is huge. Try to be more specific. Try to pick up any one component, any one skill that you learned. Okay, instead of giving a very broad overview of what we did in the entire 2 hours. Try to find out one single thing. Rakesh says Rakesh says not to use abbreviations. Yes, we should not, because it confuses people. Many a time they don't know what it is, and many a time one single abbreviation stands for two different things. Say, for example, if I say DL, DL can be driving license, DL can be department library. If I say TA can be teaching assistant, TA can be traveling allowance. All these things are used in formal letters. So don't assume. Okay, for the first instance, use the full form. The way even Milli is an abbreviation, but then in the first class I already talked about what is Milli. Time and again I put it in the chat box. What is the full form of Milli? Now that everybody has got it, now I use the abbreviation. Yes, Raju says format of formal letter and content. Yes, Raju, again, this is very broad. Okay, when we write Milli, we try to pick up one particular thing from many things. Okay, so try to be very specific about one particular skill or one particular learning. Format of formal letter and content is more of a revision. Okay, the way you have presented it. So I want you to be much more specific. Anku says general format, contents and structure of different formal letter. Anku, your response is again about revision. It's not about Milli. Milli should talk about only one component, one skill that you learned. Vikiran says contents of the body of different types of formal letter. Yes, contents of the body of different types of formal letter. Yes, Vikiran's answer is very specific. Okay, see how many times he has used of. Okay, he has used of thrice to make his answer very specific. Okay, formal letter, different types of formal letter, body of it, and then the contents of it. Okay, and then Sunil says types of formal letter. Yes, Sunil, your answer is correct, but then next time I want you to think in a more to the point way. Padmanav says format and purpose of formal letters. Padmanav, this is again very broad. Okay, format and purpose of formal letters. That is what we did for the entire class of 2 hours. Try to be much more specific, and we don't put full stop at the end of it. Body content of different types of formal letters. Okay. Yeah, so yes, this is still little more specific. Yes, Pritam says to let our CV speak. Yes, I want all of you to keep this in mind, because this is just a second year. Okay, try to get good grades, try to register for good online courses, try to go for good internships. Okay, try to be part of good projects. Okay, and add all these things. in your CV, so that when you write your prospect letter, you can write about your technical reasons. Okay, you can highlight your technical abilities, not something personal. Okay, please always keep this in my mind. Raj says apology letter, accept, fault, be direct. Okay, apology letter, yes. See, Raj, I appreciate Raj's reply that he is very specific. Okay, he has not talked about different types of formal letter. Okay, he has picked up any one formal letter, that is apology letter, and in the first place you should accept your fault. So do you understand that Raj has not talked about in a very general way? Raj has picked up one particular type of formal letter and one specific aspect, one specific characteristics of apology letter, that in the apology letter you should be accepting. Okay, you should first submit that yes, this is my fault. Okay, and Rajoshi says 10 formal letters described. Rajoshi, again, you talk about your learning and not what the teacher did. Okay, I did the description. Rajoshi, can you please unmute your mic? Rajoshi, if you can hear my voice, can you please unmute? Okay, so I don't know, but then Rajoshi's answer I won't take, because described, who did the description? I did the description. So this is teacher centric. It's not student centric. So you can say that not learned 10 formal letters. So describe, the moment you use the word described, it becomes teacher centric, because teachers does the description, not the student. Okay, Abhijit says format about formal letter. Okay. And others says types of formal letter, but then again others, your answer is little broad. Okay, try to be little more specific in the next milli. Deepjyoti says specific type of formal letter along with its format and contents of it. Okay, this is still, this looks little longer, but then I understand it. Yeah, Raj says be specific. Yeah, that this is what I keep saying in each class: be specific, because once you start writing your answers, I'll show you how even after that you make things very general. Types of formal letters, Saurabh says points to remember while writing formal letter. Very good, Saurabh. This is very specific. Points to remember while writing. So do you understand, when Saurabh is using the word remember, it automatically becomes student centric, because students are expected to remember. So when you write points to remember makes it student centric. Remember makes it a perfect milli. Points to remember while writing formal letter. Raj says inquiry letter, little polite. But then Raj, you have already replied, okay, once, okay? Yes. And Saurabh says use simple words. Saurabh, you have already replied. Milli, you can reply only once, okay? This is not that you have 5 points and you will reply in 5 different things. This is not Milli. Okay, Ratamarika is okay, it's okay. Milli is, we practice to kind of revise and bring everyone on track. And also when you are writing Milli, you can look at each other's Milli and use the same phrases to fill up your table. Okay, so that you don't have to think hard to bring down words or phrases to fill up your tables with. Okay, so you can look at the Milli and you can take kind of clue. Okay. So, and then there is one more thing before I start formal letter. In the last class, towards the end, almost at the closing of the class, of the session, I told you that the class is over. You may leave the Google Meet, and if you have any question, you can stay back. Soham asked me one question, and Uddesha asked another question on the similar line. Okay, both their questions were on the same topic, that is difference between inquiry and enquiry. One starts with I, the other starts with E. I'll type it in the chat box, don't worry, I'm just trying to give you the background of it. So by that time, many students had left, and I thought that this is a very good question and I should answer this question in presence of most of the students. So I told them, I gave them a very brief answer, and I told them that in the next class I'll answer your question so that everyone listens, because this is very important for all the students to know. So I'll just put the question in the chat box. difference between inquiry and inquiry. Both these things are kind of pronounced in the same way. The difference is only in the first word, first letter of the word, E and I. Okay, so the difference is that, okay, let me speak first. Inquiry is very general. Okay, the first one with E. Let me write it, otherwise the spelling, the pronunciation is similar. Okay, so the first one with E, E-N-Q-U-I-R-Y, it's very general. Okay, when you are asking on very general topic and it's part of your conversation, you are talking to your friends and then maybe inquiring about his or her health, that's inquiry. It's very general and it's part of the conversation, and the kind of relation that you have with your speaker or maybe who is on the other side of the conversation, it's a kind of informal conversation. Okay, we do inquiry with our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, something like that. It's very general, and the origin and it's more British in its usage. Okay, and then there is something like, again, inquiry, I-N-Q-U-I-R-Y. This is more formal and this is more popular. American English. Okay, you know that there is something like British English and American English. Sometimes the spelling differs, sometimes a little bit of meaning differs. So inquiry is one such example. Okay, that Americans are more comfortable with I-N-Q-U-I-R-Y, and this is more formal. So when we say inquiry commission, it's I. Okay, or maybe when we say inquiry team, this is I, because there will involve a kind of formal procedure. Okay, the people who will be doing it are officials. Okay, say for example, you went to a hospital and you want to know about the admission procedure. So because you want to know something official, there it's I, inquiry. Okay, if you are writing something academic, if you're research in inquiry, we use many a time while writing academic writing or writing research paper. Okay, because that's a very structured way of asking, that's a structured way of investigation. Then it becomes I. So yeah, let me put it in a little compact way. Yes, so this is what I discussed in the chat box. These are the examples. Okay, so please please look at the chat box. Inquire, E-N-Q-U-I-R-E. This is informal and it's asked during casual conversation with friends and family members. Okay, you inquire about your friend's health, or maybe you inquire about how are your studies going on. So this is general of ask, you know, and then I-N-Q-U-I-R-E is very formal. Okay, there is some procedure involved. Okay, there are formal officials involved. So that is when we use inquire. And as I told you, the first one, E is British and I is American. Then there are two examples. In the first one, could I inquire about your mother's health? So you can understand that it's happening between two friends or two relatives. So it's much informal. And then come to the second one. Excuse me, can I inquire about the admission procedure to take admission in the hospital? You can understand that this is happening in a formal space, okay? And that procedure actually involves some kind of formality. So you are actually, it's not that general asking. Actually, this is a kind of serious investigation or maybe serious collection of information. So For the second one, it's I. Come to the second example where inquiry is used as a noun, whereas the previous one, inquire was used as a verb. The second one is the noun. The institution launched an inquiry into the case. So you can understand that that inquiry will involve officials, and then there will be procedures. So that's the reason it's I. For the second one, children are born with a spirit of inquiry. So they ask to their parents, and it's very general kind of thing. They ask as part of their conversation, and the kind of replies they get from their parents or from their relatives, it's more of a very general kind. It's very informal kind. So that's how it's different. Yes, wait. Okay, so yes, if you are using British English, in British English it's interchangeable. Okay, in American English, little different. Yes, I'll come to the question. Let me finish first. In British English, you can interchangeably use it. Okay, but for American English, the distinction, you have to keep in mind the distinction. But then when you write, okay, yes, but then be consistent. If you are writing a report on some crime, or if you are writing a report on some investigation, the time and again you are using the word inquiry, please be consistent. If you are using I, use I. If you are using E, then use E. That means if you are following British English, please follow British English, British spelling. And if you are following American English, please follow American English and be consistent in that. Okay, so for certain situations it can be used interchangeably, but then not in all the situations. But then please be consistent. I, E. Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Anyone? The doubt? You can ask me. Okay, so I present today's plan. Soham, you are here? Soham, you are here?
Yes, ma'am.
Soham, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Udesha, you asked me whether it can be used interchangeably. Did I respond to your answer?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear now.
Oh, yes. If you are following British English, British pattern, you can use it. Okay. But then, say for example, if the inquiry commission is named EN or maybe IN, so you have to follow that, but then be consistent.
Yes.
Wait, I'm typing to his plan. Yes, so here is my plan for this class. First we revised And then we did Millie, and the third one we learned about the difference between inquiry and inquiry, whereas the first one is British and informal, the second one is American and formal. The fourth one is components of the structure of formal letter. Okay, first we learned the different types of formal letter based on purpose, and then we learned about the language of the body of the formal letter. Okay, and now we learn the different components of the structure of formal letter, and then we will go to each component and we learn in detail about them. Okay, so now because I have completed the first three, I'll come to number 4. Yes, the chat box. Quickly have a look. Okay, just a minute. Be little bit, yeah, thank you, I'm back. Okay, so I hope you took time to look at the components of formal letter, starting from the top of the letter. So what comes at the top of the letter? You start with the recipient's name. By recipient's name, I mean who will finally read the letter, the reader of the letter, that is recipient. Then comes date. After that comes sender's name. Sender's name means who is writing the letter. Number 4 comes subject. After that, it's salutation. Salutation is respected, dear Mr. Professor. That's I call salutation. After that starts the main body of the formal letter, about which we discussed. Okay, how the body of the formal letter differs from one type to the other type. How the body of the apology letter is different from the body of the complaint letter, or maybe how the body of the resignation letter is different from the body of the invitation letter. Okay, we talked about it, and I also talked about that there should at least be 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph gives the background, the second paragraph roughly the purpose of writing the letter, or maybe little bit of future action that they might follow. And then it's closure. Okay, closure is something like with regards, okay, yours truly, yours sincerely, or okay, I will look, or I'll wait for your reply. Okay, look forward to meet you during an interview. These are the closure. And then you put signature, and then again you also write the name of the sender. Okay, because you mean that the signature is of this person's, because names are not understood from the signatures. And then, if applicable, you also list out the enclosures that you have added. If it's a complaint letter, you add some kind of proof. Okay, if it's an invitation letter, you write the letter, and you also might add a invitation card if you have, or maybe the brochure of the seminar, or maybe the plan of the Teachers' Day function, the schedule. Okay, for with invitation, you can add schedule, you can add the invitation card. So this one by one comes in this way. So, as I told you that there is no one single format for format letter. This is the format that I generally tell people to follow. But then you might come across similar formats. Okay, what will change? It is only the first 4 will change. Okay, whether you start with the recipient's name or you start with the sender's name. Whether you put recipient's name and sender's name and then the date, something like that, and where you put the subject. So you can either start with recipient's name or you can start with sender's name. But then what I feel is that the recipient's name is more important. Okay, because he or she is the final one for which you are writing it. And that's how. And then put date and then put sender's name, so that these 2 details are kind of differentiated by this date. You might come across formal letters where there is recipient's name and the sender's name and the date. The problem with this structure is that these 2 addresses get mixed up because they look very similar. Imagine that you are writing a letter to the class teacher, that is me. So you will write my details first and then you will write your details, and they look very similar because we are all part of the same institution. So that's the reason I prefer that format which put date in between, so that this details and these details, which are kind of little similar, are differentiated by this date. Okay, and then you put the subject. And then the salutation. By salutation, I mean, dear sir, respected sir. You might come across formal letter where number 4 and number 5 are interchanged. They put the salutation first and then the subject, like respected sir, and then the subject. Somehow I feel that you are actually disturbing the kind of conversation, because once you have said that respected sir, dear sir, you should start talking about the purpose. The subject should come at before salutation. This is what I feel. But then, as I told you, you might come across formal letters where there is salutation and then the subject. Even that is correct. You might come across formal letters where the sender's name comes before and then the recipient's name and the date. Even that is correct. Okay, but then I prefer to put date in between to create a kind of borderline between these 2 similar looking things.
Ma'am?
So, yes, Uddesha.
मैम, ये एड्रेस वाला जो प्रॉब्लम है, उसमें दोनों एड्रेस के आगे टू और फ्रॉम लगा के सॉल्व काहे नहीं कर देते? टू समवन, फ्रॉम समवन, तो वो एड्रेस के मिक्सअप होने वाला प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा?
I can't hear your voice, Uddeshwari. Can you speak one more time?
मैम, वो जो प्रॉब्लम है एड्रेस का, जिसमें आप बोल रहे थे कि वो डेट नहीं बीच में रखने पे मिक्सअप हो जाता है, उसमें टू और फ्रॉम क्यों नहीं लगाते हम लोग?
हम लोग टू फ्रॉम लगाते हैं. We add to and from even after that. We add to and from, but then imagine a person who gets 20 to 30 letters every day. Okay, and also if you have written address on envelope, on postcards, you will see that they are kind of distinct. Okay, the 2 is written on the right hand side top, and the form is written on the left hand side bottom. You have written any addresses on envelopes, Uddesha?
No.
Okay, so when you actually write on an envelope, You write to and the address on the top right corner and the form in the bottom left corner. But then you can say that it's already written to and form, but then so that you can quickly look at it and you can understand that which address I should focus on. Okay, even there to and form are written, but then there are separate distinct places prescribed for it. I hope I'm making sense. Imagine this is a top of the envelope. Okay, so here is it your right? I'm not very sure. Okay, so if imagine that this is the top right, you write the to address here and you write the form address here. I mean, distinctly separate. Okay, just to make things easy, we add to and form even after that. But then, as I told you, that you have the liberty to put date in the third sequence. Okay, am I clear up to this about the sequence which we generally follow, and then the relaxation of the sequence? As I told you, that 4 and 5 can be interchanged, and 1 and
Ma'am?
Yes, Pita.
Ma'am, what is the difference between writing a formal letter and writing an application?
Every application is a formal letter, but not every formal letter is an application. Say, for example, apology letter. Apology letter is the formal letter, but then this is not an application. Complaint letter. Complaint letter is a formal letter, but then it's not an application. So every application is a formal letter, but then not every formal letter is an application. Application is a type of formal letter. Did I answer your question, Pritam?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you can focus on the components of formal letter. If you have any doubt, if you have any question, if you differ from this, you can ask me. As I told you, you can slightly interchange between 4 and 5, or maybe you also have relaxation to interchange the position of 1, 2, and 3, but then you can't start with enclosure. Okay, you can't start with signature, you can't start with closure, you can start with body. Okay, so from 6, it's kind of fixed. Okay, so I'll go to each component. Okay, so I'll come to first one, recipient's detail. As I told you, by recipient, I mean the reader of the letter. Okay, you write to avoid any kind of confusion. You write to, and then you provide the name. There is a question mark after name. I'll come to that. And then you provide the official designation or the specific role applicable. Even this I'll explain with example. And then comes the address. But then keep in mind to check the details of the proper noun. The way, if you are writing a letter to me, please take care to verify how I write my name. Okay, don't assume. because people are very serious about their name. And if you are writing an application letter to me, I will expect that you will do that much of research. Okay, at least you will do that much of homework before writing me an application. So that comes at the top of the letter, and that's the most important part of my identity. And if you write my name, spell my name in a wrong, the thing is that that might not affect much, but then I will know you as someone who is very careless, as someone who is very casual, who does not verify. So if it's for job application, maybe I will think again, because the first, sorry. Okay. Okay. It's 2:40. Okay. Can you give me a 5 minutes break? Okay. Sorry, it's 2:20. It's 2:20. So there is a break for 5 minutes because I have to go down. There is something that I should sign. So there is a break for 5 minutes in between two classes, and we are going to get back at 2:25. So there is a break for 5 minutes. I expect you to be back by 2:25. By that time, I hope I too will be back. So thank you.